Oh, yes, you are, big government Obama. Yeah, we're wise to you.
You fool me with your kisses.
Now, I want everybody to listen to me very, very carefully because I'm going to lay out the enemy's battle plan. Why do you think in Europe and the United States, masses of poor immigrants have been brought in and paid to be brought in many cases by the government? Why do you think in Minnesota they brought in more than 1 million people in just the last decade in Minnesota alone? The government pays to fly them there. Because then the government gets them on welfare, keeps them as basically kept political slaves who will then vote for gun control, vote for open borders, vote for restrictions in free speech for tiny little payoffs. And they tell them, oh, you're going to get free health care. Then they raise everybody's taxes, cut everybody's health care. They even rip off the slaves. The slaves don't know that, though. They come from countries of enslavement. They don't know any better. They didn't have George Washington to set things up. That's why the system demonizes this country, because it's been the best. It's not perfect, but heads above everything else. Heads and shoulders, mountains above many. So they're bringing them in here, and when you read what these people write, they go, very soon we're going to be basically half foreigner, and there's nothing the middle class can do. We're going to take over and arrest them. They actually do want... Folks, think about it. Every one of these czars says, we are going to ban your guns. They introduce the bills where the attorney general can ban any and all guns he wants to himself. If you're on a no-fly, you're on a no-buy. All of this stuff. Then they say, we don't know why people are saying we want your guns. We don't know why there's record purchases of guns, because people actually went and read the bills. But see, Cass Sunstein in his conspiracy theory papers and reports says, if people think there's a move to get their guns, it's a conspiracy. But I do want to ban them. See, it's a mental game he plays where he's God, you're the child, and he tells you what to do. He says there's no global government. Doesn't matter if Ban Ki-moon, Secretary General of the UN, calls for it in the New York Times in speeches in the last month. It doesn't matter if Herman von Rompuy, the head of the EU, calls for it and says Copenhagen Treaty is to bring in world government taxes to be paid to offshore banks. It doesn't matter if open world government's being announced literally in thousands of newspapers in the last year. Go to Google. Type in global government, global governance, and click news. And it'll show you just in the last week how many articles there have been in the first block. When they had the G20, there were over 2,200 articles in 1 week calling for New World Order world government. Now, they're openly announcing world government, but Cass Sunstein says you're not allowed to talk about it. You're not allowed to address that it's real. You're not allowed to discuss it. It doesn't exist. You need to be arrested. Look, there's the Wall Street Journal, global government. Look at all those global governments right there. You can go read thousands and thousands. 94,000 hits came up under Google News. This isn't web. This is newspapers. But according to Cass Sunstein, you need to be banned. You need to be arrested if you say it exists. And again, in his own white paper report written 1.5 years ago, he now implements all federal regulations and laws. He says you will not be allowed to say, and it will be made illegal. Go read it. To say sunlight is good for you. This ridiculous conspiracy theory must be banned. See, that sounds crazy. It sounds asinine. It's meant to. He may say you can't drink milk on Wednesdays. He may say you've got to wear a purple hat. It's all about training you to do what they say. They mean to be outrageous. They mean to bustle in like a bully and squat on you and spit in your face. He wants your guns. He wants your freedom. He wants your kids. He's a criminal. Bob Chapman joins us once a week in the third hour on Fridays. He's coming up in the next segment with us. And I'm going to play some audio and video clips of Cass Sunstein, President Obama's appointee to head the Office of Information and Regulatory Affairs, and the man who outlined a plan for the government to infiltrate conspiracy groups in order to undermine them in direct line for a promotion to Supreme Court justice. And he says illegally that he wants to go in and try to get them to commit violence, to break up the peaceful people, and so they can provocateur and arrest others. He says he wants to ban free speech in America. We're going to go over those quotes. He says you have no right to keep and bear arms, that they will overturn it within the next 3 years at the Supreme Court. That clip is coming up. He says he is going to get your guns. And he also talks about how much he loves communists. I mean, every czar I look at says Mao is great. Lenin is great. Hugo Chavez banning people's free speech is great. This is quite a crew. And remember, we had the Bush White House in reports saying they wanted to infiltrate and try to shut down conspiracy theorists. But the most important thing in all of this is he says in the report, and this is all in the articles we have posted, direct links to his white papers and videos, he says the conspiracy people are very dangerous. He says the conspiracy people are very, very dangerous. And why does he say we're dangerous? Because we're telling the truth. He calls anyone questioning anything the government says, if you think Goldman Sachs is corrupt, it's insane, it doesn't exist. It is mass mental illness. It is mass programming where they tell you what you can and can't think. This is 1984. We're going to Bob Chapman right after this quick break. Before we come back and get into this with Bob and the economy and a lot more, I want to tell you about a few of the sponsors that made today's show possible. Cola Blue's one of them. They've got a special running until Sunday evening where you get $150 value. You get 2 years of free filters with the water filtration system that grabs water out of the atmosphere itself. EcolaBlue.com. They've got the Ecola Blue 28, the Ecola Blue 30, and a bunch of other great units. People ought to buy these and send them to Haiti if you can get them there. They're trying to get a huge unit that can supply thousands of people there for free right now. But it's hard to get stuff into the country. The point is EcolaBlue.com or 800-691-6043, 800-691-6043. Got a huge special running throughout the weekend until Sunday evening. The product code word to get huge discounts is Alex Jones. Again, EcolaBlue.com. or 1-800-691-6043. Continuing, new silver solution. People all over the world are discovering the benefits. That's why the government's moving to restrict it, of supernatural silver. The powerful new nanotechnology is a natural antibiotic and preventative against infections, germs, and disease, according to all the scientific reports they have on their site. Silver is one of the oldest natural antibiotics and is a non-toxic. It goes on. Visit their new link at Infowars.com and see the studies for yourself. You cannot afford to miss this opportunity. It's essential for your emergency preparedness needs and is a great way to protect your family and friends. You cannot put a price tag on the health of your family. It's also just a great topical. That's what they're approved for, is topical, just amazing disinfectant, and lasts a lot longer than that crud they sell at the store. Supernaturalsilver.com. That's one word, supernaturalsilver.com. You can also find the phone number on their website, supernaturalsilver.com. And finally, for sponsors that have made the last 3 hours possible, Natural Silver, of course, but then also survivalseedbank.com. In a real crisis, having non-hybrid seeds, that's what Haiti needs, is seeds. In a real crisis, having non-hybrid seeds means having the ability to grow an endless supply of nutrient-dense food to feed your loved ones. There have been times in American history, Pilgrims, for example, when seeds are the highest value of barter item, even silver or gold. There's a war on against non-hybrid seeds with the UN buying up all the companies and hoarding them near the Arctic Circle. That's now come out in the news. SurvivalSeedBank.com. Get yourself a seed bank for the spring and one to save, one to plant, one to save, or give it as a gift. SurvivalSeedBank.com or 877-327-0365, 877-327-0365. Don't wait. Get prepared today. SurvivalSeedBank.com. We'll be right back with Bob Chapman and the open announcements that they are going to take your guns by the White House.